Good morning, YouTube. I was looking back through some of my old videos and watched one last night called Possibles Pouch. And as I watched that, I was like, wow, I've made a lot of changes to that. I should probably do an update video. My plan this year is to do some gear loadout videos when I go on some of my longer, bigger trips that I have planned for this year. But I wanted to do this kind of detailed video on all the little small stuff that I carry, just so I have that up front, because this type of stuff doesn't change that frequently. So today I'm going to go over my updated Possibles pouch, or random miscellaneous stuff that I bring. Typically I'm going to use this on everything from like an easy day run to a trail run to a full-on week-long backpacking trip or more. So this is kind of like the core essentials, the little small stuff that I think is really important, because things like your clothes, your shelter, your food, all that's going to change depending on the trip. But these are some core small items that I bring on every single trip. So let me just kind of dig through the pouch and I'll go through and talk about what I've changed in the past couple of years. First up is headlamp. I used to rock a Zebra headlamp, which was great. I really did like that one, but I replaced it with something a lot lighter and a lot more versatile. So this is the Nitecore, I think it's called the NI25. It's super lightweight, weighs next to nothing. The nice thing about it is it's got low, medium, high, and it's got red light, which red light is pretty helpful if it's really dark out, and it weighs next to nothing. Actually, I just learned you can make this even lighter by replacing this band just with some like bungee cord. So I'm gonna try that. Just do some elastic. So love this headlamp. Been rocking it for about 2 years now. Really like it. The other major electronic thing I changed out is last time I had a Spot, and then I had a big inReach. So I used to have, it was called the DeLorme inReach, and then Garmin bought out DeLorme, and now I've been using the inReach Mini. I like this quite a bit because it's about, I think, half the weight and definitely half the size, so it takes up less space. The old inReach was like a Game Boy almost with an antenna, and this is so much smaller. I've had this for a couple of months. It's worked great. You can text on this thing, but it's pretty challenging to do so. But this goes with me everywhere. A lot of times I'm doing stuff solo, so it's important to have some emergency communication. Next up, something that was not in my pouch last time. It's kind of amazing in 5 years how technology has changed and what you carry backpacking has changed. So I always carry a 10,000 milliamp battery from Anker. This works great. I can charge my phone and my camera and all my other type of gear I need. And then cord-wise, I got an Anker iPhone cord, then a USB micro cord. So these are all I really basically need to charge anything I need. If I'm going on a really light day run or just trying to be as light as possible, I will take these out because they are kind of heavier items. Next up, fire making type of things. Like last time, I had a full-on big ferro rod. I've stopped carrying that unless I'm going to go do like a bushcrafty type thing. Just rocking the mini Bic and then a little tiny mini fire steel. For the handle, I have duct tape wrapped around this little tiny piece of cord. So it's small, it's lightweight, it works okay. It's definitely a bigger fire steel, is easier to use, but this works really good, and I figure I got two forms of fire lighting, one easy and quick, one that can get wet and is pretty indestructible. What else do I keep in here? I've been rocking this and keeping this in the pouch. This is a Kestrel titanium super light knife. It weighs like absolutely next to nothing. I just keep that in there. I'm going to do a separate video on backpacking knives and kind of give my thoughts on from a heavyweight setup to a really lightweight setup, where do I fall. This is just what's been rocking and being kept in this kind of Possibles pouch, so I always have at least some type of knife. This comes or goes. This is a pack towel. If I'm going on a longer trip, this is definitely in here. Usually I take it out or don't have it in there for day trips. This is super helpful for cleaning your base, cleaning up messes in your tent if you get water all over the place or you need to wipe off condensation. So yeah, I keep this around. It weighs next to nothing, so it's pretty good. And then the pouch itself, I think if you watch the old video, I was using a Kifaru Sil Nylon pouch, and it was like OD green, nearly impossible to see it. If you drop that in the grass, it's gone. You're not going to see it. So I have made this. This used to be bright orange. It's now faded orange. It's starting to get some holes in it, and it's seen better days. But I've had this for about 3 years now. I made this out of Sil Nylon, and it's got a nice zipper on it. These pull tabs used to be reflective, but the reflective has worn away. So this might be a need to upgrade type of thing. One thing I did in here that I liked a lot is I put a little key clipper. So if I'm like, I put my keys and clip it into this, just so I have them secure. And then this is a lot easier to see, obviously, than OD green if you're going to drop it in the grass. The liquids pouch, I keep an extra Ziploc with some liquids. This is seasonal, but bug spray. A lot of these little bottles I'll show as I go through. I get them off eBay. Sometimes Amazon has them. You can get lots of like 20 for $5-6. But this is I think an ounce and a half. I use permethrin bug spray, and you keep this in from spring to fall. It doesn't weigh much, so I sometimes take that in or out. Sunscreen, this is always with me. Living here in California, like right now, there's no clouds. It's very bright, it's very sunny. There's always sun, even in the winter. I got to put this on. I'm super pale, look like Casper, so I need to make sure I use the sunscreen. So definitely keep this. I've been using like mineral-based, like that really white chalky stuff. So if you watch my videos and I get like white chalk lines all over me, it's because I use the titanium dioxide, like good sunscreen. So that's what I've been using. In my previous video, I used Aquaphor for my lip balm. I switched from that to this, which is Banana Boat, and this has got sunscreen in it. I've had a couple of trips, especially on exposed like mountains, like on Shasta, and then a couple other like day trips, even just in the snow. There's so much UV off the snow that my lips would get really, really messed up. So I always have at least this, and then usually most all of my packs, like in the hip belts or in like the shoulder pockets or whatever, they all have another chapstick, because my lips get really, really messed up, especially if it's windy and sunny out. So SPF on your chapstick is a big deal for me. As another kind of liquid thing, this is, I used to use Bonnie's Balm, but they went out of business, so this is called Badger Balm. And this one actually, it smells a lot better. It smells like peppermint. Yeah, smells way better than Bonnie's Balm. So this is the peppermint version. I use this and put it on, like my hands are all like chapped or messed up. It's good for that, but mainly on my feet for overnight trips. I rub it into my feet, and it kind of helps the skin, especially if they've been really wet or messed up, and it removes and gets rid of calluses after a couple of days if you start building those up. So big fan of this. This is, again, just a little plastic container that I got off of eBay somewhere. And then the final thing I keep in this bag, I should probably get a lighter weight alternative, but I've been keeping a pen with me. Like, I think this is actually pretty invaluable. This is a Fisher Space Pen, which is had for years, and it's nice to have for a couple reasons. One, for permits. I always seem to get to a trailhead and there's no pen there, and I can't find a pen, so I always keep a pen with me. And then two, if you're navigating via maps, like I like to write down like where I'm, like, if I camped in a spot or I need to write down the coordinates where I'm going to. It's just nice to have a pen and a writing instrument. And then I also usually will journal or take notes, or be like, hey, I just got to fix this on my gear, do this. I do that on the back of my maps. I don't really bring a journal. I just use the back of the maps because I usually only ever print one-sided, so I can lay them out side by side. So I use the back of my maps as a journal, and it's nice to keep a pen with you. So let's move on to the final thing, which is my repair and med kit. This is relatively similar to what I had last time, but I've updated and changed a couple of things based on some circumstances. So same type of bag, a lock sack. I'm pretty sure this is the 5x7. These are lock sacks, like make the zipper better. Like, come on, company. Like, they've double zippered them now, but they don't last that long. Like, they're like $5 a piece. Like, very expensive Ziplocs. They don't last as long as what I want. So in no particular order, I'll try to kind of go through this. So it'll be a mixture of like repair and then medical stuff. And this is pretty lightweight, and I would maybe add a bit more if I was doing a long trip. But this is kind of like my go-to, like default. I feel pretty safe with this. So one, Advil. These are like 15, 20 little Advils. You can buy these little tiny plastic bags, again, off eBay or Amazon. So I use those. These are called salt stick pills. So these are basically they're like salt pills essentially, but they got electrolytes in them. So instead of using Gatorade powder, which I've had terrible results with, like I've had Gatorade powder spill before and it gets all over your backpack, and where you got little packets you got to do, you just pop one of these pills. This is like the equivalent of a Gatorade. You do that in water, and it works great. I've used them for a couple years now cycling, where I seem to sweat like a ton, especially in the summer biking. And I've had a couple instances where having I can feel it. It's hard to describe it. I can feel when I've like been sweating a ton, and I know like my electrolytes are kind of screwed up, and I've taken those before and I feel better. After my incident, man, this looks like crushed cocaine here. Um, it's all like crushed in the bag. Anyways, this is not drugs. This is the Diamox pills. So this is I keep the pills, it's prescription medication. I keep that for altitude sickness. If I'm going to be at extended above periods of time above 10,000 feet, then I'll start using those like a day before. If I'm just going to be up there for like a day hike, I don't use them. I seem to have overcome that issue, but if I know I'm going to be at or above 10,000 for extended periods of time, I bring a small package of this and use a half a pill a day, or half a pill in the morning, half a pill at night. Okay, so that's like medication stuff. Let's go through a couple like tools and things. Tape. I always use the old Bic pen, chop it up, and then I wrap tape around it. This is I think it's pronounced Leakopold tape. Great tape, been using this for years. I still probably have my original roll from like several years ago, and the tape is still holding up. So I use this on cuts, blisters, first aid type of stuff. Real big fan of that. One thing I've added to that, this is a really tiny little bottle, and this is called Benzo Tincture. And it is like tree sap, I think that's what it's made out of. And it's super sticky. You put it on like your skin and you wait like a minute and it gets like real sticky. So if you combine that with that, you can make this like epic bandage that you could put on your foot, be walking through a river like for 3 days and it'll still be on there. So this is a little thing I've started carrying and I've used a couple of times. I have some like general purpose athletic tape, just as kind of a backup. See what else we got. We got the stripped down Thermarest repair patch kit. So some glue dots, little tabs. These do go bad after a while. They kind of like, they lose their stickiness. So I have been, I try to replace these every like 2 to 3 years. Very loud bird there. Toenail clippers, probably a kind of a luxury extra item. But I just find these work better than a Swiss Army knife and scissors. So I use those. Aquaseal UV. This is for like if your shoe busts open, which is always a concern of mine. Shoes breaking, tents, stuff breaking, packs. This is really good and it cures in the sun and it cures pretty quick. I've used another tube of this. This is a fresh one, so I do keep that. I haven't used these in a while and I could probably take them out. They don't weigh much. They're little dinky tweezers. If you get like an annoying thorn or something stuck in your hand, that is super helpful to get stuff out. One big old pen, some roller gauze. I figure this is kind of, I can make a bandage between that and tape. I can make just about anything I need to. Something super critical is an extra washer for my Sawyer. So I use the Sawyer original, the big one. I stopped using the micro. I don't like that anymore. So I use this. So sometimes the little O-ring and the base falls out, falls apart. So I carry at least one spare of those. Some rubber gloves. A little bit of duct tape. I guess I carry a lot of different types of tape. I should probably consolidate that. And then a couple other things. Let's see what else we got in here. We got a little bit of Neosporin. Never hurts to have some of that. We got some Benadryl, which is all like kind of crushed up. Probably needs a replacing. Tenacious tape. Again, another type of tape. These are like super permanent patches, and this one's getting kind of old. You'll see like you get dirt around them and they get crinkled, and so these things do need replaced from time to time. A couple of alcohol prep pads, 2 or 3 of these. They can be used for not only cuts but for repairing gear. So I think that's important to have. And then I never use these, so I'm probably going to take them out. But these are 2 really large Band-Aids. They're decent size. So a recent thing that I put in here is Dyneema composite tape. This is just like backed tape that I can use to repair my shelter. And I got about 8-9 inches of that. Should be enough to repair stuff. So it's probably a little heavy on the medical and repair side of things, but that's kind of my standard kit. It's relatively lightweight, and if I'm going on a bigger trip, I might add some more stuff in, but I feel really confident and covered with that everything from a small thing to a bigger problem, I can, at least manage until help comes. One thing you'll notice that I didn't include in this list, and I used to carry all the time, was a compass. I've stopped carrying a compass on day hikes and trail runnings, because usually I've done a ton of research, and this is just my own preference. I've done a ton of research on the area. I carry 2 different mapping GPS things, so my phone and my watch has a map on it. So I feel like that's good enough for a day hike. I'm never going to go, crazy far away. if I go on a bigger trip, I will include a compass, but that doesn't stay in this pouch. I keep that on the outside of my pack in a pocket so I can use it. So that's it for my Possibles pouch. A couple of updates, mainly around electronics, the bag. Try to downsize and lighten the gear as much as humanly possible. I'll do another video here in a week or two around backpacking knives and what I like to carry for what kind of trip I'm going to take, from the kind of heavy to the ultra light. If you've got any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching.